za zama zile, natamani siturudie, natamani mvua na jua, natamani sisi kuruka. I wanna feel your tender loving, call me baby when we're fighting. That's what I really want, something that will really last for real, for real. Once so many times I've loved, I found no one like you. I felt no one like you. Once so many times I've loved, I found no one like you. I felt no one like you till I found you. Till I found you.
You make me happy, you make me smile. Like you are lie, you make me mushy. So many times I die inside. How can I run from such a feeling? I'd be crazy leaving. You're such a blessing, you give me so much light. A gift that keeps on giving, I can't deny. How can I run from such a feeling? I'd be crazy leaving. Natamani jua na mvua, natamani sisi kuruka. I wanna feel your tender love and call me baby when we're fighting. That's what I really want, something that will really last for real, for real. Once so many times I've loved, I found no one like you. I felt no one like you. Once so many times I've loved, I felt no one like you. I felt no one like you till I found you. Till I found you. Till I found.
Full of 100, we keep it full of 100, full of 100.
Drama. Nipate kwa base, yeah. Hizo ni chwani mbili. Nipate na gang gang. Hizo ni chwani mbili. Popote pale utanipata. Hizo ni chwani mbili. I keep it 100. Hizo ni chwani mbili. I keep it 100. Full of 100. Keep it 100. Full of 100. Keep it 100. Full of 100. Keep it 100. We full of 100. Wati wanadai ni choche ati ni popo nione na sina eni mfuke mebaki kirai. Miaka ni 6 kwa game, bili ni solo, bado na build, bado na piga uradi mpaka imboka ijipe. Nilichagua kalamu, kuna mabeso alichagua ndenga. Mina tokodi si boys lakini gotea huo manzu kimona. Vichona na genya, kufuata lefe madranya, kufuata lefe ya nasa. Hakuna papa, saini fame na dogu, hang na squad, kubanja na hozi. Mani wanaichorea, daily IG wana abudu celeb. Base, yeah, hizo ni chwani mbili. Nipate na gang gang, hizo ni chwani mbili. Popote pale utanipata, hizo ni chwani mbili. I keep it 100, hizo ni chwani mbili. I keep it 100, full of 100. Keep it 100, full of 100. Keep it 100, full of 100. Keep it 100, we full of 100. Nilijituma sacrifice ke Roma, kuna madeni lifunga pia huduma, kuna madeni lienda na ndani sikuwa fiti, beef na marapa ni mboga, mi hujibonda, hakuna time ya kubonga, weka imani songa, jenga yo ark, Noah, hii ni noma, noma ni niliokoka na mi keep it 100, keep it 100, noma ni mimi na Mungu tuko fiti na uwezi ni chocha, noma ni mimi najua imani yangu na hizi chocha, noma ni ati yao ni ita sana, hiyo ni noma. Nipate kwa base, yeah, hizo ni chwani mbili. Nipate na gang gang, hizo ni chwani mbili. Wopote paluta nipata, hizo ni chwani mbili. Keep it 100, hizo ni chwani mbili. Keep it 100, full 100. Keep it 100, full 100. Keep it 100, full 100. Keep it 100, we full 100. We feel nice it up, nice it up. Yes, we have feel nice it up, nice it up. All of the youth them nice it up, nice it up. All the people nice it up, nice it up. We have feel nice it up, nice it up. Yes, we have feel nice it up, nice it up. The youth them nice it up, nice it up. The man them nice it up, the yanks nice it up. Yeah.
Full 100, we keep it full 100, full 100.
Yes, man, we are.
Full 100, full 100. We keep it full 100, full 100.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Power Radio. This is Sheversations. My name is Caroline Murote, and it is 7 minutes past 11. We have been chilling with Muhanji. He says 100, and before that, we heard from Kinoti and Ochiko, and they were saying like you. And speaking about you, how's your morning going? How is your weekend? Mlidu, mlikuwa wapi? What did you guys do? You know, was it nice? Are you guys nursing hangovers? Are you reflecting on your pastor's sermon? Sijui sherehe, sijui ama mlilala the whole weekend. I hope laundry has been done, and if not, I hope that you make it past the week. You know, if you're a 9 to 5 girly, 9 to 5 guy, I just want to wish you a wonderful weekend. Like I always say, be intentional with your time. Plan your week out. Actually, what do I want for myself right now? What I want for myself right now is a planner. There's a particular one because when I go through, I enter the rabbit hole, I dive. I go with inside the depths to the core of the earth that deep. That's how far I go down rabbit holes. So I found this journaling community on YouTube. I was so shocked. They're there on Instagram, they're there on Pinterest, and it's called Bullet Journaling. And they are also bullet journaling and bullet planning. I was so shocked. So these guys have particular notebooks that they use to plan out their whole days. And apparently, if you're actually able to document whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're eating, what you're thinking, then that actually puts you a step ahead at having an effective actualization of your plans if you're intentional to follow through. And because everything is written down, you're able to give yourself a guideline. So essentially what it is like, imagine if you had Google Maps. Imagine if you had Google Maps in your hand and you needed to get 2 blocks away and you don't really know how to do that. So it would tell you, you know, walk for 200 meters and then turn left and then take another right. And then 100 meters, you have arrived at your destination. And I would assume that that's what planning looks like, that you know what you want to do, you know where you want to go, if the physical destination is what we're likening it to. And then now the Google Map directions is the details that you put down when you're planning. And there are so many brilliant people that have come up with different systems of lists and putting down your to-dos. Honestly, because for me, it has reached a point where if it's not on paper, if it's not written down, not necessarily physical paper, you know, not like it doesn't have to be a notebook. It could be on your device. It could be on your tablet, on your computer, on your email calendar, or physically. I do both because you can't always carry around notebooks everywhere, and we are in the digital age. But if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. You will tell me, we will make plans. I will sign up. I will talk about it with you for 2 hours. And if the next time I'm flipping through my schedule, my planner, my calendar, if I don't see it, you might as well forget that we spoke on it, you know? So unless it's those things that your heart beats for, and sometimes it's those things that you forget, you really will just forget. So let's move with the times. The more information that's coming out about how effective we can be, then I would encourage us to embrace this education. Let the people on the onlines, the global university, give us degrees on how to live better lives. So I would encourage you guys to plan out your week. You know what happens on a Monday, on a Tuesday. So if your work looks the same and it's not really up to you, then that's fine. But any space where your tasks are up to you, then put those down and tick them off as you're going about, and then you're able to tell the next day, okay, I wasn't able to achieve this, so let me schedule this for this time. And that actually helps you put into account how much time you're spending on everything. This morning, I was very intentional to just calculate for the 6 millionth time how long it takes me to shower. It takes me 15 minutes, give or take. 15 minutes to shower. And this is just the normal shower without doing anything extra. Some people shave in the shower. Some people want to shampoo their hair in the shower. Some people want to do their exfoliating routines if you're one of those people, in the shower. So if it's just the shower, like unaoga tu, hakuna kitu ingine, ni sabuni na maji utoke. For me, this morning, I realized that takes me, give or take 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So if I want to be intentional with planning my time, I would need to put 15 minutes on my schedule. Otherwise, it would be unrealistic. If I put too much time, I'm wasting time. If I put not enough time, then I'm going to be behind in my schedule. So think about that. Think about the little things that you do. If you want to be making your bed every morning and you want to make time for that, make your bed tomorrow in a realistic way. Like just, do it quick enough, but do it in a way that is possible for you to do every single morning if that's something that you are able to achieve, and see how long it takes. And so if that takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then put 10 minutes. And then depending on how long it takes you to get ready, leave the house, then you know when to wake up. You know what time you need to wake up. If you need to wake up, do your devotion, do your affirmations, or whatever it is that you like to do in the morning. And that's how we become better humans. And before people go and throw their lives away, uko kwa sherehe, they have achieved a lot. And yes, if you achieved last week's goals, I'm very proud of you. I'm very, very, very proud. You're doing well. You are doing well. Keep it up. And if you weren't able to achieve anything, try and see what is in your control this particular week, right? So that we can all have a wonderful week. And regardless of the level of whatever it is that you have achieved, it just takes one step at a time. Already. So if you want to reach out to me, you want to reach out to us and let us know how your weekend was. Let us know how you plan yourself, how you're intentional with your time. Reach out to us at Power Radio across all social media platforms, as well as Caroline Murote, Caroline_Murote on Instagram, and we'll get right back to you. So this is No Place Like Home by Kahuna, and they're Made Up of Love by Mutoria and Zenia Manase. Enjoy.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Ringing of the bells.
I know of a place nikienda, they'll have to take me in. Nikikuja si lazima nitasema, cause I know where they hide the key. Drunk or naked, I haven't been around in ages. But when I return, like a prodigal son, oh, I always find love. Nyumbani, ni pale, nakula nusu mkate. Sijali, who is judging, who is watching. Nyumbani, ni pale, nakula nusu mkate. Sijali, who is judging, who is watching. And I've been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Nikitoka shuleni nilikuwa nakuja napata maziwa. Kisha na keti miguu kwenye meza na washa runinga. I'd give anything just to feel it again. Even just for a day, I'd give it all away for the good old days. Nyumbani, ni pale, nakula nusu mkate. watching. And I've been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Kaskazini mashariki, kusini magharibi, mali ulipo ndo nipo, mali ulimo ndo nimo. Kaskazini mashariki, kusini magharibi, mali ulipo ndo nipo, mali ulimo ndo nimo. And I've been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Been to the east, been to the west, and there's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Mwani, nipale, nakula nusu mkate, sijali na sishtuki, chumimi ni fundi.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
I lost faith in finding me. I lost faith in finding meaning. Of all the songs I tried to sing, of all the songs I wrote to sing, sometimes life could be so real, strangely heaven out of season. I don't believe in truth, but I do believe in you. Everything I do will be done from my heart, and every move I make will be made up of love. Everything I do will be done from my heart, and every move I make will be made up of love. Made up of love. I lost faith in finding me. I lost faith in finding meaning. Of all the songs I tried to sing, of all the songs I wrote to sing, sometimes life could be so real, strangely heaven out of season. I don't believe in truth, but I do believe in you. Everything I do will be done from my heart, and every move I make will be made up of love. Everything I do will be done from my heart, and every move I
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
You Are Made Up of Love. That was Motaria and Zenia Manase. And in case you didn't know, You Are Made Up of Love, literally somebody had to make love to make you. So you are made up of love. And there's no place like home. That was Kahuna. I hope you're enjoying the show. This is a Sheversations with myself, Miss Caroline Murote. The time is 22 past 11. And today, what's happening? What's going on? What is happening? What is happening is that apparently MP Sabina Chege seeks to privatize farming in Kenya as she proposes a bill that will require mamambogas and farm produce suppliers to have a license. Imagine Mama Njeri pale wa nyanya na vitungu. License. Like, with all respect to them, do you know that a lot of these ladies genuinely struggle even with literacy? I found that by doing a small research in my neighborhood, and I realized that a lot of our mamambogas see water, but a lot are actually not literate. I was shocked, especially in Nairobi and environs. And I was like, wow, we have so many women that are not educated because why are you struggling to read something simple? It's because they didn't have opportunities for education, and the societies that we are in, actually, apparently, Ushagos, Karibu na Nairobi, there's a lot of girls who don't go to school. So unapata mimba, and then you move on with your life. You unaanza ka business, unaangalia what are other women doing, and you start doing it. And so 20 years down the line, when Kara is coming to buy nyanyas from you, I just assume that this is just where life found you, but it's hard for me to imagine that somebody cannot read. And I was actually very shocked that a lot of them would struggle with literacy because you're explaining something to them, they cannot read in English, and some of them cannot read at all. And I really, really struggled with that. I really struggled to accept the fact that this is what our country looks like, especially in areas that are very close to suburbia, close to the urban spaces, close to our capital city. So what are we actually celebrating? Yeah, so this was on BNN Basic, and that is very interesting. We're gonna have to look at that bill because now we know what it means to look at bills, why it's important for public participation. And what else is happening? I don't know if you guys know Nyako. She's a TikTok sensation. She truly is. And she just jumped on my timeline. I didn't know about her. And last year, I found out about her. And her content is very interesting. She's a very outspoken woman. Who lives in Germany. Yeah, she has a German baby daddy that she's not with. So her kids are Kenyan and German. And it's so interesting because she's now currently staying in a shelter. And there's a particular video from BNN Basic on Instagram where she's asking, what's wrong with this? And Nikama, she's just very content with the fact that she's living in a shelter. And a lot of people in the comments were like, heri wenye wanaishi Kenya under the bridge, at least wako kwao. And I thought the conversation of what happens to us as Kenyans and Africans when we go abroad to those first world countries where systems work, where a foreigner like Nyako can actually go to a shelter. So is it better to be in a shelter abroad, huko majuu, first world, basic, it's okay, but it's not your home and you don't know you're going to be kicked out. You don't know what you're going to be told when. Like you're literally squatting, but like they're allowing you to stay there. So I guess technically it's not squatting, yeah. Is that better than somebody who is homeless in Kenya? So would you rather be homeless abroad where you have no control or be homeless at home? I don't know. It's a very interesting conversation when I see Africans suffering abroad, and they're okay with it because they're like, no, at least me niko huku, at least I'm in a clean environment, at least I'm being fed. So are we supposed to settle for this at least, or are we supposed to fight for things in our continent to be better? And I know one person can't do that. So that's it's very interesting. What else is happening? So what else is happening is that our NRG, I can't speak. NRG radio presenter. Woo! Diana Kimani says that she charges 10K for her number. And this is her reasoning. You're not going to leave me alone. But if I tell you that you need 10K to speak to me, then you can get my number. And she was asked, so do men actually pay 10K? She says, some do. If you want to speak to me, you will pay 10K. And apparently some men have, paid her 10K to get her number. And so she was asked after that, so then do you feel obligated to have a conversation with this man? And she says, yes, because you have literally paid for my time. Like, I'm not obligated to continue talking to them. And it's so interesting that now these are the measures that we resort to because men won't accept no when it comes to our numbers. And women are being so creative. They're now asking for money. And wow, what if you meet a man who's actually going to send you that money and you are just saying that to avoid talking to him? So now, should we talk to men because they can pay us the money we're asking for, as opposed to them acknowledging that the reason why we are saying pay me this amount is because I know that you probably won't give me this amount of money. Hence, I know that this is an effective way of avoiding you because you won't take my no as a no. It's so interesting because now it means that we can commercialize our time. And even though as a human being, I'm not interested in talking to you, if you have enough money, then you can actually pay for my time and attention. Does that make sense? Is it fair? Let me know what you think at Power Radio over there on Instagram, on X, on TikTok, and on Facebook. Also, you can let me know what you think about that on all social media platforms at Caroline Murote. On Instagram, it's Caroline_Murote. So that's that's really interesting, guys. Yeah, so sisi wenye labda hatujafika level yake. How much are we asking for? How much should we ask for? We're asking for 2K, 3K, 500 shillings. Like, how much do you think is a realistic amount that maybe if a man was really interested, he would actually send? I don't know. Like, and is it worth the headache? The headaches that come with dealing with some of these men. As a woman who has experienced it, I have no interest in talking to you. Now, I wanted to avoid a confrontation. I felt unsafe, and I felt like the only way to appease you is to give you my number. And now you're calling me, texting me. Now I have to block you. But if I don't, I have to go through headaches. Is 10K worth the headache that comes with a man that you didn't want to talk to in the first place? Is it? Let me know what you think. And as we are talking about that, we are going to hear from B, the artist, and August IV, and they are saying sure like this.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Okay. Sure like this, never been sure like this about anything, yeah. Oh, Nico into deep, I'm drowning in your love. Na, yeah. Eternity has never felt this possible in my life. Oh yeah. In you I see everything I wished for, baby. Everything I need and more. Everything I need and more. Sauti yako yapunguza pressure, tabia zako zanipendeza, na moyo wangu watulia nikikufikiria. Hey, and I can't wait for forever. Penzi unanitenda and I love you, yeah. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Hey, your smile, darling. Your smile, darling, brightens up my day. An extra mile, baby. I'll go an extra mile just to keep that smile alive. Yeah. anything for you. Oh, oh, oh. I hope you say you do. I hope you say it do when I propose to you one day. Yeah, yeah. Juu sauti yako yapunguza pressure, tabia zako zanipendeza, na moyo wangu watulia nikikufikiria. Hey. And I can't wait for forever. Mpenzi unanitenda, and I love you, yeah. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Ooh, unanitosha malaika. Sure like this, never been sure like this about anything, anything. B.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Hey, I was just having a conversation with somebody here, our producer here in studio, and she's like, why would you do that? Why would you pay? Don't give men your numbers, period. Be broke, be happy, be content. Already, so you have heard it here on Power Radio. And what else? What else is happening is that former MP from Bahati, his name is Kimani Njuguri, was advising men not to insist on 50-50. He was saying a man is a provider, period. And this is a man well in his 50s, if not his 60s. And he says that over time, sijui mama Otis akisikia ati anataka kukusaidia, siku moja utamsikia atakushtua aseme, hey babe, kuna hii pesa, labda tunaweza angalia what we can do with it. And that's what he says. So I don't know. You know, we've heard what the girlies are doing to avoid men from taking their number and how they are capitalizing from it. And obviously that all of us have different opinions about that. And then yeah, Mr. Kimani Njuguri is saying that Ngujiri. I'm here butchering his name. Ngujiri, that's his name. Kimani Ngujiri. He says that no, there's no such thing as 50-50. A real man provides. So what do you think about that? Because this is coming from a man. I found this on BNN Basic, which is on Instagram, you know, just loud as a day. So that's very, you know, and he was on the Dr. Kingori show. So let me know. And then people are very irritated because Kazmo has been hanging out with politicians. And I'm like, what do you want? Because if we say that we are the generation that's changing things, how will you actually network? And if you want to get into politics, who should you network with? And like Kenyans don't seem to be happy because I've been seeing clips where every time he's seen, you know, they're not too many, but every time he's seen with a politician or somebody affiliated to politics, there's a lot of complaining. And what do we actually want? Do we want the leaders that can represent us, but we want them to pretend like they don't know anyone, and then one day they're just going to be president out of the blue, no connections, no mentors, nothing? What do we actually want? Can we please decide? And wow, one more thing that's happening is that President Ruto was serving tea to Junior Starlets FC, who qualified for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. They were scheduled to travel to Spain for their training camp. And so this can be seen on the particular video where he's serving them tea. This video is on BNN Basic, and he's serving them tea. You know, they're lining up, and then he is the one who's actually putting the tea in their cups before they add sugar and other things. And my question is, so actually serving the country is where you draw the line. And I would love to see this. It would be so beautiful if he was actually saving the nation. as opposed to selling our airport and doing whatever weird things that are going on with KPLC, you know, him and his buddies. We've been seeing photos of the people that are affiliated with this whole KPLC drama and the relationship to our, president. This is cute, but this is PR. This is my very humble opinion. I might not know much. About his heart and what kind of a person he really is, but I shouldn't be concerned about what kind of a person he really is. I should be concerned about what kind of a president he really is. Maybe as a human being, he really does enjoy hanging out with young sportsmen, encouraging them, letting them know that, hey, we can do this. But what about the 60 million people in your country? What about the rest of us? This country is literally falling apart in so many ways. Different corners of this country are literally in shambles. So what are we doing serving tea? And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but is this your priority? When you're questioned about different things, we just on Friday had the Kitengela 3 being released, who were abducted after he said on national television that nobody was missing and anybody who was had been returned unharmed. I don't know. I'm not going to drink this Kool-Aid. I am not at all impressed. Yeah. And and then we have one of our faves over here, Morara Kebaso, is a guy who has been exposing a lot of drama going on in this country. And he has a video where the Kenya Kabaddi team actually occupied the Talanta Hela offices in protest because they were stalled from traveling to Iran for the World Championship. Yeah. While others, like the ones we just read about right now, were flown to Spain for training. So some went for training, but they could not go for the actual World Championship. That is really interesting. And so they were camping out of the Talanta Hela offices, and Morara Kebaso was over there just documenting that. And these are the people that need to be protected. These are the people who, if possible, we could just switch everybody up to a pay office. And it's actually really funny that a lot of the time we do have people doing these kinds of things, but once they're in positions of power, everything flips. So we need to change the systems from the root because it's rotten at the root. It is rotten at the root. And that's what we have today on What's Happening. If you have something that's hot and happening, something interesting, we're going to talk about it here on Sheversations. And every day from 11 to 1 p.m., we are just going to, let you know what's actually going on in Kenya, what's going on around the world, if it's just an interesting piece of news. So share what you have with us. And right about now, we're going to listen to We Are Nubia saying Niko Sawa, and then Dizzy by Kweyu and Wambura Mogo.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Usicomplicate mambo, weka feelings zako kando. Tulifanya hivyo jana, hakuna kitu tuliagana. Hizi ni gani umeanza, unanihanda, unanipata. Nilidhania twajibamba, hisia zako zikakupanda. Ole wako, kupendana na wewe hiyo vako. Weni sampo, ligi yangu haufiki bado. Kila mtu na wake, niko sawa kivyangu. Kila mtu na wake, niko sawa kivyangu. Niko sawa, single niko sawa, niko sawa, single niko sawa,
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
This will be the last time tunaishi hivi. And this will be the last time unaniacha kijijini. Kesho naenda kwenye stage, nakata tikiti ya kuja Nairobi. Kesho naenda kwenye stage, nakata tikiti ya kuja Nairobi. Mimi ni yule uliyependa yule toka siku za kale. Mimi ni yule uliyependa yule toka siku za kale. Tulipatana pale kanisani pale, nikaanza kuhadithi. Tulipatana pale kanisani pale, nikaanza kuhadithi. And this will be the first time nakwambia ukweli. And this will be the first time nakwambia ukweli. You see, when I went into the city, there were many busy bodies nikazama ndani. You see, when I went into the city, there were many busy bodies nikazama ndani. Kesho naenda kwenye stage, nakata tikiti, narudi nyumbani. Naenda kwenye stage, nakata tikiti, nakuja nyumbani. Mimi ni yule uliyependa yule toka siku za kale. Mimi ni yule uliyependa yule toka siku za kale. Tulipatana pale kanisani pale, nikaanza kuhadithi. Tulipatana pale kanisani pale, nikaanza kuhadithi. You got me round and round and round, falling for you. You got me round and round and round, falling for you. Yeah. Said I'm falling for you. Falling for you, my baby, you. I said I'm falling, yeah.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Yeah, so that was Wambura Mugo and Kuyu saying Dizzy, and right before that we had Nico Sauer by We Are Nubia already. Yeah, so that's what has been going on, whatever it is that we discussed. Like I said, if you have any feedback with regards to that, then let us know across all our social media platforms already. Yeah, so Monday we're gonna be having this particular segment called In My Opinion, where you share your either interesting, enlightening, unpopular, controversial opinion about women or about women in relation to whatever, to whoever, to men, to dogs, to cats, sijui, to ugali, to food, and then we discuss it here. So what are we talking about? Yes. So somebody here has said that in her opinion. So in my opinion, women love money more than men. That is today's unpopular opinion. Is it true? Is it not true? Yes, so that's what is happening. I got a feedback from one of you, and I just want to know what you think about that. So just let me know so that we can be getting feedback as we're discussing this. And she says that there are different types of women. Some women like money more than men. Most women want love and security, and it gets skewed when money becomes a source of love and security. Money comes and goes, but human beings deserve respect, and they shouldn't be treated like objects or ATMs. So that's what she thinks. She thinks that women love money more than men, or that is what it appears to be out there. That appears to be the case. So do you feel like women love money more than men? In my opinion, they do not. In my opinion, I believe that women shoulder a lot of responsibility in society. And to a lot of women, money is instrumental in getting them to the next level in life. If you're a mother, money means feeding your child. If you have a home, it means keeping your home up. So, and because our economies are skewed against women, statistically speaking, if you want to know, there is statistics, and not just to support the point that you want to prove. There are very neutral statistics. World Health Organization, the United Nations, the Red Cross, the IMF, yes, International Monetary Fund. You can actually go onto their websites online and see statistics of the earnings. You know, we've been discussing the gender pay gap, the divide, the wage gap. We've been looking at that. We've been looking at the economic status of women, how women can empower themselves and become business leaders. And we've been seeing that the statistics are very worrying. So in a society like that, women start to recognize money as a tool for survival, and that's because women carry most of society. Sijasema hakuna slay queens wenye wananyonga watu kuinje. They are draining your fathers. Instead of your father paying school fees, analipia 6-inch heels, analipia 6-inch heels and sijui 40-inch weaves straight. What are they called? Oh my goodness, I wouldn't know. Like, you see me and the hair that I have, I know nothing about wigs and weaves. You know, one of those good days I might learn, but I'm very green in that area. So he's busy paying for somebody's pedicure and manicure. And honestly, if you're able to convince somebody's father to do that, as he should, why? Because that's our way hauna. Like, why would you leave your children uncatered for? And then you are here busy sponsoring somebody's life. Like, what is the reason? Why are some of you men out here so weird? Like, you have literally brought children into this world, or you have agreed to take responsibility of children, and then you're giving somebody money to go buy one item, a foreign woman's hair, which is okay if that's what she wants, but she's gonna go buy a foreign woman's hair for 60K. Now 60K is more than enough for rent. Oh my God, 60K is so much for one individual. And it would do so much for a whole family. Let's say if there's already a home that doesn't need rent to be paid, 60,000 would really take care of a family properly. Like, you know, just school fees and those bulk expenses aside. When it comes to food, 60K can feed a household. When it comes to basic needs and toiletries, sanitary pads, stationery, just things that are required for you to stay alive, you know, transport budget, maybe not. If everybody's leaving the house daily, and tuseme wanatoka Syokimau to Nairobi, they're coming from Rongai to Nairobi, from Kiserian to Nairobi, Kikuyu to Nairobi, maybe then if you had 3 kids, that 60K wouldn't be enough for food and a transport budget, because transport is very expensive. So unaweza pata kila mtu anatumia kama 6K per month just on transport, because if you think 100 bob going 100 bob coming back, that's 200 shillings, right? And that's just kufika CBD. So tuseme unafika CBD and then you go to Thika Road. Tuseme you're coming from Rongai to town, that's 100 shillings. And then you're going from CBD and then you're gonna go to Juja. Let's say that's where you work. Thika Road, somewhere there you work at TRM. That's gonna be, depending on the time of day, depending on the time of day, it's anything from 50 bob to 100 bob. So let's just say 100 bob because we don't know which day it is. We don't know what time this person goes to work. Kama naenda jioni, they are pretty much screwed because it is 100 shillings. It's 80 bob to 100. Kunyesha hivi kidogo, unaweza jipata unalipa 120, 130 because Thika Road really is crazy when it rains. 200 shillings. Just kufika job. So tuseme 200 kurudi, that's 400 shillings. 400 shillings here on a Monday. So let's calculate how much that is. We are just seeing how much slay queens and wababas are costing their families. So that's 400 shillings for child number one. Tuseme that they're doing internship. They're not yet earning, right? Wamemaliza campo, wamemaliza high school, or maybe there's no money for campus, right? So that's 400 shillings, right? Times 5, that's 1 week, that's 2K. 2K, and then you multiply that by 4 for the month, that's 8,000 shillings. There's somebody's child using 8,000 shillings, and we have not put into account anything else. Maybe they are going somewhere else. Maybe lazima wapitie wapi, wachukue nini. Who knows? Maybe even mali wanaishi that you need a bike because hapo ndio wamejengewa. That's where your plot is. So tumesema this family has a house, most likely. So 8,000, you have 3 children. 8,000 times 3 is 24K. 24K is just for 3 kids, 5 days a week. If you're sure that they're going to use 200 to go and 200 to come. So 400 hajakula lunch, ajapigia anyone simu, hakuna pesa ya data. Let's say that their job actually requires them to have WhatsApp active, as is the case with most of us. It is almost not possible to survive without WhatsApp right now in this day and age because a lot of work chats are on WhatsApp. You need WhatsApp to talk to your boss, talk to your colleagues, talk to your transport people, your family where you're at work, your friends. Sa hawa watu hawajaenda church. This man's 3 children washatumia 24K na hawajaenda church. And then let's just say church is just in their neighborhood and so they don't need to use transport, or church is in Nairobi. So everybody is using 200 shillings to go and come, and that's for 3 kids. So in one day it's 600, and then in a month is 2,400. So we had, was it 24,000, 28,000 plus 30K for transport for 3 kids. So huyu mzee hatujaweka transport yake. We don't know if he's using matatus ama he's using Ubers ama anaweka mafuta kwa gari na bibi yake. So where do you get 60,000 to give your slay queen side chick for her weave and you've not taken care of your children? Let's stop being weird, because women who are actually looking for money and are being reasonable, it's because they need to take care of people most of the time. So when we say that women love money more than men, it's because the kids are like, Mom, I need a handkerchief. Mom, I need a notebook. Mom, very rarely is it gonna be directed towards the man in the home because of the patriarchy and a lot of our traditional setups in the home. This petty cash needs, which amount to so much money at the end of the day, are not directed towards the man. So once he pays the rent, pesa ya stima, school fees, labda transport, he's done. And then he gives a little for food or a lot for food. Who knows? So I wouldn't say that women love money more than men. Men make more money. So if you're making more money, does it mean that you love more money? So what kind of a conversation are we having? Let me know. So that's in her opinion. That's what she says, that women love money more than men. And so let me know if what your experience in society is. And I want you to look at it holistically, from your neighborhood, where you grew up, your village, your estate, mta wherever you're coming from, and then look at it, the dukas around you, look at the relationship men and women are having with money, and then look at it on social media, and then let me know what perspective you're coming from, so that by the time you say that women love money more than men, then your opinion is founded on something that we can actually discuss. So that's what's going on. So when we come back, we're still gonna continue a little bit of this discussion about women and men's relationship with money, but right about now we are gonna hear from who are we hearing from? We are hearing from Nyota, that's Be the Artist, August Ivy and Sunset, and Policy, that's by Flyer.
nakupenda wewe mama wewe nita ya Kenya nasherekea na furahia nakupenda sisi sote sisi nita ya Kenya tusherekee tufurahie tujipende
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Okay. Kako ready, minko ready, pole pole steady. Hiyo ndio pace. Na kwani ushachoka already, unaona janta haiwezi make. Don't let that smile fade away. It's not every day that things go your way. Na kuteseka ni kwa muda tu. I believe in you, 'cause you're no lesser, you matter. Don't let them define who you are. You got so much to live for, yeah. So much to give, oh yeah. Sijali, uko valid. Jiaminie baba, wendo stop. Usiwari, pole pole kuna hari. Oh, you're special, wendo stop. Weni nyota, weni nyota, weni nyota, yeah, yeah. Weni nyota, weni nyota, weni nyota, yeah, yeah. Weni nyota, weni nyota, weni nyota, yeah, yeah. Weni nyota, weni nyota, weni nyota, yeah.
It's a different kind of world that we're living in. We all living in a life of sin. That's probably why I never try to win. Struggling to find out what the word love means. That's why I'm gonna be a shoulder to lean on. When all seems lost, when it all seems wrong. When you're found hiding and your cover's been blown. Look across the room, you're my brother, people. I know a lot of stories that you've probably been told. I'm gonna be your warmth when you start to feel cold. Hurts deep inside, all the way to your core. That's when you get stuck, whole world says no.
'Cause you're no lesser, you matter. Don't let them define who you are. You got so much to live for, yeah. So much to give, oh yeah. Sijali, uko valid. Jiaminie baba, wendo stop. Usiwari, pole pole kuna hari. Oh, you're special, wendo stop. Weni nyota, weni nyota, weni nyota, yeah, yeah. 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 Wendo star, wendo star. Wendo star, wendo star.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Welcome back to Power Radio. It is 6 minutes past 12. I hope that your Monday morning is going good, has gone good because Imeisha, it's no longer morning. So good afternoon to you, Sheversationalists. How you doing? What's up? What's popping? Do you guys think that women love money more than men? And why? I think that our relationship with money is very toxic as women. Why? Because we become very subservient to money. Because, first of all, the burden of beauty, guys. The burden of beauty. Whereas a man anaamka anachukua kipande ama sijui sabuni ya wapi, and then he just rubs it on his body 6 million times, Alafu hana any pimples, nothing, no skin breakouts, for majority of men. A woman has her 6 products, sijui her shower gel, which is scented, ndio anukia. She has her shaving cream, she has her deodorant, she has, and I'm not saying men don't do these things. I'm just saying that on a bare minimum, women are expected to look nice, smell nice, feel nice. Do you understand? And this actually costs money. So when a woman wants money for her nails, it's not something that's changing her life. But for a lot of women who are used to that, if they don't have that, then they feel less than the burden of beauty. So I'm not saying that this is how it should be. I'm just saying this is how I see it. If every morning I wake up, I need to use my 6K set of makeup for me to put on my foundation, my primer, lipstick, do my eyes, then that's not going to cost the same as a man who's just going to step out of his house, not even thinking about anything, with regards to skin products. So if by the time a woman is getting money, she's thinking about how do I look decent? How do I look good? And it's such a burden. It's a burden that you can choose. But for most women, they have not been empowered enough to realize that it doesn't need to be this way. And because of our very capitalistic and westernized beauty standards, then you find that what a woman could do with 100 shillings is not what a man will do with 100 shillings. When a woman is using 100 shillings, a lot of it is not giving her direct value. It's value for her to just meet the expectations of others. Again, I'm not saying that this is how it should be. Like Hini, if we were to go out there and actually talk to women in the streets, a lot of women would be depressed if they didn't have money for their hair. A lot of women would be extremely depressed if they didn't have money to do their nails, if they didn't have any form of makeup. I'm saying a lot, not everybody. So if you're not one of these women, that's okay. I'm talking about those who do go through these things. And you realize that by the time you're giving a woman 2K and she needs to take care of herself, she's not just going to buy mbosho. She's not just going to go buy beans and rice and be happy the way most men who just have 2K would. Then she'd need to say, can I buy an eye pencil? Can I buy a packet of braids so that I can do my hair? Otherwise you'd have to be extremely innovative to use the internet to, you have to be extremely innovative as a woman who does not have money to facilitate your beauty. Because even if you're naturalista, the creams, the styles, everything, you need internet access to even have ideas of how creative you can get with regards to beauty standards, even off natural hair on a very low budget. If you just don't want to look like Brother, and there's nothing wrong. Aduamorema. Watu wamorema munani mwache. Leave me alone. Mwachane na mimi. There's nothing wrong with looking like Brother if that's what you want. But for women who don't want to look like that, I think that it's very difficult for them to just use 2K on food when they also need to think about their appearance, and then they need to think about taking care of people around them. And so your appearance is not just makeup products and cosmetic thingies and toiletries and hair. It's also clothing. Because the value which women are given depending on how they dress is very different. And you can tell a woman who has really taken time and money to, put that into her appearance is treated differently, because she enters the room and you're like, wow, so what we have done actually is that we have commercialized beauty. We have commodified beauty. We've commodified women who buy into this capitalistic beauty standards, and we have given ourselves levels. And some of us are Totoshi Mboga because can never be me. Truly, if you see me with my face, I'll never apologize for coming out and looking. I will never apologize for not having makeup on because that is a capitalistic beauty standard. It is. And I know there's a lot of people who makeup really helps them with their confidence. I know that there's people with blemishes, there's certain physical situations on their faces and on their bodies that they really need to cover up, feel they need to cover up. But that's also because we're not a very accepting society. And so for them to have peace of mind, then makeup is their daily bread. But that's the exception. For the rest of us, we believe that looking good means putting all of this enhancements to your face. And the issue is that without them, then you're not good enough. That's my issue. My issue isn't even with you looking beautiful. My issue is not with you wanting to modify, enhance, accentuate whatever it is that God gave you, that your mama gave you. That's not the issue. The issue is when you start to believe that when you're going to an event with no makeup on, then you're not good enough. And then this becomes a societal standard that if you haven't put on makeup, you're not taking yourself seriously as a woman, you're not taking care of yourself. And we forget. We forget that our compatriots do not have to do these things. And then we ask ourselves, why is it that men have money to invest in property? Why is it that men have money to invest in vehicles? Why is it that men have money to invest in other investments which have profits at the end of the day? Forgetting that we have created such unrealistic and expensive standards for women, and women who don't have enough resources and information to on how to do these things the right way just end up looking weird. Because if umechora eyebrows and has jachoreka, then I'm gonna be looking at you funny because it's distracting. If the lipstick you're wearing does not really go well with your outfit and it's just screaming, it's giving clown. Like, don't wear eyeliner and end up looking like a raccoon. God created enough of those. It's not necessary. So we actually find ourselves in such weird positions where you spent money to look good, but now you actually look stupid. And it's very, very embarrassing because a lot of women cannot afford healthy products that are good for their skin, that actually match their skin, because a lot of us are just walking around looking yellow here, the face part, but then your neck looks darker than the African continent. It's actually embarrassing. And this is a commercialized beauty standard. This is a capitalistic beauty standard, because if you cannot afford that standard, then why try so hard to live by it? So that is exactly what I mean by the burden of beauty. We have placed such unrealistic standards on women, and women feel like they don't have any choice than to accept. If you want to be accepted, if you want to be considered good looking, beautiful, well put together as a woman, and that's why shows like Sheversations exist, so we can talk about these things that affect us on an everyday basis. So again, if we're asking if women like money more than men, it's because women are more desperate to use money to look decent so that they can be considered as human beings. So actually that question is a little bit dehumanizing, seeing the breakdown. You know, women are dehumanized to the point where they need to spend a lot of money to just make themselves look acceptable. So we're rejecting those standards. They're not for us. And so we are gonna be hearing from Flyer, and this is Policy.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Unaona habari, unaona hao wamepicheza.
Raundi utajua haujui, hatuweki mafala. Pesa nitakula na sitaleta kurahi, wakifunga nyumba ulikuwa rundawe. Hatuweki mafala, haujali bao mi, nasikia una benki Maldives, kiji nyumba kina cheki palm trees, ikinuka utaruka kambi. Sina karo, sina food, sina kodi, na nina BBI, kuna COVID, miss me na story za BBI. Wanasema tunavuta bangi, lakini cheki zinashika nani? Wananchi wanawika haki, ukutenda zikipita kati. Sitakuvotia wewe, ukabila ndiyo policy, kama bia ndiyo policy, kaka mia ndiyo policy. Sitakuvotia wewe, ukabila ndiyo policy, kama bia ndiyo policy,
kaka mie ndio polisi mafala. So pesa nitakula, sitaleta kura, nikishindo nare, ulikuwa Karen, hatuweki mafala. Hawajali about you, nasikia wana mali offshores, mandege na mameli lonos, wakidedi watasare others, magazeti walihonga of course, kwenye tali nikiteri ma. Someone tell me where we headed now. Wanasema tunavuta bangi, lakini cheki zinashika nani. Wananchi wanawika haki, kutenda zikipita kati. Sitakuvote away, ukabila ndiyo polisi, kama bia ndiyo polisi, kaka mie ndiyo polisi. Sitakuvote away, ukabila ndiyo polisi, kama bia ndiyo polisi, kaka mie ndiyo polisi mafala. Roundy, utajua haujui.
She's on the beat. Okay, yeah, you remind me when the sunshine, better utilize it. By the way, I've been really vibing. Do me spend time for long, trying to visualize it. I killing me, just fantasizing. Every little thing, every single time your eyes and I meet. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tricky because tango kitambo tumekuwa marafiki. Tell me you wanna live the friends only. Unaogopa nini? Cause I got you. If you fall, I promise to get you, get you, get you. If you fall, I promise to get you. Yeah, I promise to get you. I promise to get you. Yeah, I promise. I promise this. I promise. Mina da tupendane, misi da tukosane, tupatane usiku wa manane. Unaweza come to banane. Yeah, be my baby. Bestie, let's go, lazy. We are amazing. Let's start with the basics. Yeah. It's gonna be a little bit tricky because tango kitambo tumekuwa marafiki. Tell me you wanna live the friends only. Unaogopa nini? Cause I got you. If you fall, I promise to get you, get you, get you. If you fall, I promise to get you. Yeah, I promise to get you. I promise to get you. Yeah, I promise. I promise this. I promise to.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
What are you guys saying? What are you guys saying? That was a Promise to by Brandy Minor, and before that we had a flyer saying ukabila ndio policy. We're not gonna vote for you. Tutakula pesa, and oh my goodness, Gen Z, millennials, please ID. Go get your ID from Huduma Center, from wherever it is that you need to get your ID from, because 2027, we need to put in our votes. How many times have you voted? How many times did you have an opportunity to vote? And how many of those times did you actually vote? Please, can we be serious? Because we might not have the best options, and it's quite pointless to go into the streets and, andamana and protest if you're not actually practicing your civic responsibility, which is it's your right and your responsibility to vote. I don't understand people who proudly say that they don't vote. Nasiati, it's wrong. Ni venye siwaelewi. Because if you have a chance, it's free of charge. Just go to your polling center and vote. and say that, hey, okay, now I can hold you accountable because I did vote for you. I did put my voice in. So that if there's a couple of good candidates, then put those two candidates up. Give them that authority, because if everybody became reasonable in this country and there's even 3 good options, then those are the ones who would be in power if the rest of us can see that these are the sensible options. But if you choose not to practice your civic responsibility, then just know that you didn't do your part. So you and them heshimiwa, same WhatsApp group. That's my opinion. But in my opinion, according to some of you out there, women love money more than men. Let's talk about sanitary expenses. The first time a girl needs to use money on sanitary expenses is when they have their period. And for those that have access to resources for this, maybe around, I got my period for the first time when I was 12. And so did my sisters. I have 2 sisters and they also got their periods when they were 12. So it was very, it looked very precise in my household. My mom, she got her period, I think she shared when she was 14 years old. And in their household, there was no money for sanitary products. So they used to roll up pieces of cloth and as well as pieces of cotton. Nasi cotton fancy. I didn't like, she tried to explain and it was so hard for me to understand. And that is how she survived until she was 19 years, when she was able to afford sanitary towels. If women love money more than men, then sanitary products should be free. There are sanitary towels, there are panty liners, there are tampons, there are menstrual cups, there's toilet paper, there is what do you call this? What are they called? Wet wipes. There are so many situations, and if I was to get into the intricate details of what it takes for a woman to be clean, comfortable, and healthy, not forgetting water and soap for when you actually need to shower, because if as a man you can decide I don't need to, a woman cannot make that decision. Like, even if she's in a situation where she can't shower, that is actually detrimental to her health. Like, she will be very uncomfortable if you're not able to clean yourself up when you're on your period, and it gets to a point where it actually does not smell good. So you actually must be bathing, you must be changing your items of clothing, you must be changing your sanitary products. And this costs money. So it's actually more expensive to raise a girl than it is to raise a guy. And this is not a double standard. This is reality. This is reality, because we've talked about the beauty standards that we should not be buying into. But even if you're not a woman who wants the most to be considered beautiful or to present yourself as beautiful and well-kept, still, that costs money. It costs money if you need a particular comb to manage your hair. If you need to go to the salon, have them put a relaxer in there. Please don't put relaxers, but it's okay if that's a choice that you want to make. Let it be informed. Let it come from a point of knowing what you're actually putting into your hair and what it's doing and what the outcome is going to be long term. That costs money. Shampoos, conditioners, cost money. Hair straighteners, hair moisturizers, those things cost money. So are we actually saying that women wanapenda pesa more than men? When you see how much money men actually use on themselves and things that make them happy, while women are literally forced to do a lot of these things. Because if a lot of women were asked, they would not be bothered. But because they feel like they need to buy into the standards for them to be considered humans, then that's where we find ourselves needing to use a lot of money. Again, I'm not defending people who are finishing children's school fees, buying weaves. Please don't get me wrong. If you want to use your money to look like Barbie or Nicki Minaj or Beyonce or let's see, who are the Kenyan socialites like Huda, like Vera Sidika, if you want to use all your money to look like that, that is a personal choice. But please don't be exploiting people to do that. Work for it. Right? But generally in society, I cannot accept that women love money more than men. There are so many unspoken reasons as to how women have been they have been wired, and it just brings us into a very awkward space where everything is being thrown, everything is being chalked up to the same thing, that everybody is a gold digger. And I'm like, a woman with 6 kids is gold digging as well. She's just trying to feed her kids because most of their fathers are not available, And that is a story of so many of us out here in society. So if you're saying that about women, remember your mother, remember your neighbor, and ask yourself, how empowered are they? How are you empowering women to take care of themselves according to realistic standards? Or bado pia we unatafuta rangi ya dhao in your neighborhood full of dark-skinned, beautiful, melanated women, and then you wonder why girls are spending your money to buy bleaching creams in River Road. Think about that. How are you contributing to this issue? Praising people who have full face makeup, which isn't a problem, but actually deciding to out loud proclaim that that is the most beautiful girl in the room when there's 6 other girls out there with not a lick of powder on their face. What are you actually teaching them? And if that's your little sister and she has experienced that in class, she's experienced that in church, in the streets, on TV, on social media, then why would she not be looking for money to make herself beautiful if women are supposed to be beautiful? Do you understand? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. So before we get into our discussion today, which is going to be about climate change, we are going to listen from Mazuri Mabaya. That's by Yoaya Tajiri, and then Kizenda by Bro Code.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Nitajaribu kile mindaweza, ndio nikuone ukitabasamu. Niko na wivu kwa wale wenye pesa, maisha yao lazima iwe tamu. Na akisisi tunanyeshe, wana inanisumbua. Spendi kuona ukitembea kwa baridi na mvua. Ndo maana ndajaribu kile mindaweza. Hizi mashida situzisahau. Njoo vile nilikupenda hapo mwanzoni, mpaka saizi ni zaidi. Mashida ni kawaida, haziwezi tuzika, hazitatushinda. Ndio maana mpenzi sibagui, nitakupenda kwa mabaya na kwa mazuri. Ukweli mpenzi sibagui, nitakupenda kwa mabaya na kwa mazuri. Kujitambua ndio ilifanya nikakuchagua, na nikoshua shida zikija ndazitatua mama. Woyo ukitaka maziwa ama halua ndazinunua, na kuletea kasi na fea nitatembea mama. No. Kila kitu ndio upate, hata kama ni machache, ni lazima nijikaze. Nasema tena, kila kitu ndio upate, hata kama ni machache, ni lazima nijikaze. Juu vile nilikupenda hapo mwanzoni, mpaka saizi ni zaidi. Mashida ni kawaida, haziwezi tuzika, haziwezi tushinda. Ndio maana mpenzi sibagui, nitakupenda kwa mabaya na kwa mazuri.
nasema mpenzi sibagui, no, nitakupenda kwa mabaya na kwa mazuri. Oh no, no, mpenzi sichagui, nitakupenda kwa mabaya na kwa mazuri. Ndajaribu kile mi ndaweza, ndio nikuone ukitabasamu.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Nimekupata wewe, dawa yangu ya roho mama, na nisijechelewa kuzikiri hisia. Kweli nimetembea panda shuka za dunia, lakini karejea na mahaba kapokea. Nilikupenda kweli mimi na mapenzi bado yapo, nikakutwika mzigo hata na ukavumilia bila mada. Nakupenda kila saa, ningependa angalau nikwambie wewe, na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Sikiza story kabla judge book, easy my body, easy how I look. Tuliza mori cause the ground shook, well fell from heaven with a bright look. Na unajua ni wewe nawaza mama, na unajua ni wewe usiku mchana. Na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Pambana na maisha we, na bado unanichanganya changanya. Nikaimba nieleze, pambana na maisha we, na bado unanichanganya changanya. Na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Na sasa tumeconnect kizenda, no cap nakupenda, na chochote nitatenda, kutenda nakupenda. Nikaimba nieleze, pambana na maisha we, na unanichanganya changanya.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.
Welcome back to Power Radio, and that was Bro Code, and they be saying that nitakupenda na mapenzi ya kizenda. I shouldn't try to sing. Wacha niachie those that were gifted, and right before that we heard from Yaya Tajiri. It's a whole tongue twister, saying Amazuri Mabaya, you know, they're sticking by you. And that's the same. That's the same right over here in Sheversations. We are sticking together regardless, right? And today we're talking about how climate change affects women. Yes, we've been talking about economic justice. Last week I introduced the series of mental health, and another thing that really affects women is from the angle of climate change. So today we're going to have a brief conversation about that, you know. So we're going to talk about how climate change actually affects women. So do you know that climate change actually affects women more than men? Do you know that? Do you believe that? Do you know that this is something we need to think about, and that climate change is not just an agenda by the West? It's something that we're actively seeing, and I don't think that any Kenyan can dispute climate change with the recent floods that we had in the first half of this year that were really sad because we lost a number of lives. People lost their homes, and it was a very sad situation. So you are not in a position as a Kenyan to say that climate change does not exist. So whether people are using it as an agenda or not, we understand that it's a real thing. And now let's look into how it actually affects women. So, how it affects women, one of the ways that it affects women is that water scarcity actually affects women's workload. So uko mashinani, who fetches water, who waters the garden? I know that a lot of men labor in farms, but how many women in the village actually do work in the farms? It's a cute TV narrative to show men working in the farm all the time. But in Africa, in most villages, there's more women working on farms than men. There's more women bended over, plowing their farms, digging with a hose, with shovels, with whatever it is that they use. With what are they called? I know the digging hoe. There's the other one, the digging fork. Let me not even. I studied agriculture, so my agriculture teacher should be just judging me right now because I've forgotten the names of this, of this digging tools. But when we don't have water because of climate change, then women in a lot of developing countries struggle to collect water for their households as well as their farms. And according to UNICEF, women and girls are responsible for retrieving water in 80% of households that require water collection. So if you don't require any water collection in your household, we're not talking about you, but we're talking about what our societies actually look like. I've been saying on this show for the past couple of months that when we're talking about women, don't just think about yourself and your three friends who had the privilege of being educated or really worked hard to make your way, into suburban areas, or even if you're not living in a modern area in a city, you still have enough resources, you have enough exposure for you to live a comfortable life, and hence don't feel the need to fight for women empowerment. But when we talk about empowering women, when we talk about issues that affect women, you are not the only woman or the only type of woman that exists. So we talk about not just the women in your family or the ones in your neighborhood or the ones in your class, the ones who didn't get to live in your neighborhood, the ones who did not get to go to your class, the ones who are living lives that you cannot even relate with. Those women are also in the statistics. So women and girls are responsible for retrieving water in 80% of households that require water collection. So anywhere where there is no water, know that there's a woman somewhere trying to figure out how to get water into her household, and because climate change often leads to water scarcity, women must travel further to find water. So this actually increases their workload. This woman has to walk further, and this leaves less time for education and other income generating activities. So if this is a young girl who needs to go to class, and now instead of walking 500 half a kilometer, now she's needing to walk 3 kilometers in order for her to be able to get water, meaning that she's probably going to be late for school. And if this is after school, it means that she won't have enough time to study, while her brother probably has more time. In this particular case, then climate change would be affecting the women in that household more than the men. And if this time that is being spent fetching water, others are using it to make money, then we find ourselves at a disadvantage, don't we? Right? Hygiene and sanitation are really affected by the lack of access to clean water. So this means that women and girls become more vulnerable to communicable diseases. So these are diseases that are easy to spread. In particular, women and girls of color, that is us African girls, as melanated queens, low income women living in poverty are especially impacted by the lack of access to clean water and diseases related to water, sanitation, and hygiene. So that's very sad. So you find that women cannot keep themselves clean. Women have periods. women are more vulnerable to getting communicable diseases. This is a statistic of the World Health Organization. So we actually need to think about that. Another thing of how climate change affects women is that women farmers really, really struggle because, again, in most households, so we're talking about rural households, we're talking about semi-modern households, women are responsible for food production and farming activities. So not just the water, but the food and how to take care of your farms. I know this because my grandmother was a farmer. My mom also took care of the farm growing up, and I didn't have to. I would love to have a farm, but that would be a choice. I'm not forced to grow my own food, even if I had to. For my mother's generation and her mother's generation, the only way they could eat was to grow food, take it straight out of the ground, meaning that they were spending a considerable part of their day growing these things. And if you're not eating what you're growing, then you are growing a cash crop. That would be tea, that would be coffee, and certain these kinds of crops that you find growing in certain areas in bulk, so that you can send them off to the factory and then you able to use the profits to feed your family. And because women are often responsible for food production and farming activities in most developing countries, then you find that when there's variation and there's extreme weather events because of climate change, then this negatively impacts their crop yields. It decreases income and creates it brings in a lot of food insecurity for these women and for their families. And a report from the United Nations found that women are less likely than men to see their work demands decrease during periods of extreme heat. Wow, that's actually very sad. That's actually very sad. And because women are farmers often work on small scale farms and rely on natural resources for their livelihoods, this makes them highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. So women farmers also have limited access to resources and information such as credit, land ownership, and technology, which could help them adapt to the changing climate. So things such as greenhouses, things such as climate adaptable irrigation schemes, and things such as climate adaptable water storage schemes. These are things that if you're not getting information, if you're not being educated, if we're prioritizing boys' education, in our last show, we saw that we have a 20% disparity between the number of chemistry labs in boys' schools as opposed to girls' schools. And this was very disappointing, meaning that we're still not prioritizing women's education. So even as we say girl child or girl child is too empowered, no, there's like 6 empowered women in Nairobi. The rest of us are just existing, and then there's people who actually need for us to continue championing for their rights, because there's a girl right now who's looking for water to water her farm, feed her household, take care of herself because she's on her period and she must clean herself, just looking for ways to stay alive. And because they're a woman, then they are going through a really, really hard time. Another way that climate change affects women is that they are vulnerable to climate-related diseases and violence. Oh, don't get me started on violence, because it's such a trigger point. Women are more vulnerable to the health impacts of climate change, such as food insecurity. Yeah. And this is through heat waves, floods, and hurricanes, so all these things will come and wipe away your farm, as well as give you injuries or kill you, right? And this happens especially to women who lack access to adequate shelter and healthcare. And this also comes with access to information, which you see circles back to, are we educating our daughters? Are we educating our women? And these events can also lead to the spread of disease, such as contaminated water diseases, as well as damaged infrastructure, which increases the risk of infectious diseases. So if you find women-headed households who don't have access to adequate information about the weather patterns, how to build shelters, or even the resources to build shelters that are hardy in extreme weather conditions, then you find that these are going to be the victims of those weather patterns. Hence, they really, really struggle. Now, when it comes to violence, women are more likely to face gender based violence and exploitation because they would need to travel away from their homes to find resources in times of scarcity. So, a woman is walking because she has no food, no water, because she's living in a drought stricken area. And of course, because women have not been allowed to have agency of their bodies, then they will literally be attacked. They will be raped, taken advantage of sexually. Somebody somewhere will decide to use them to sexually gratify this girl or this woman who's trying to stay alive. And this might be because of climate change issues. So when we're thinking about women empowerment, let's think about it not just from a selfish perspective or because you've seen two socialites who are eating people's money and saying that they need to be empowered. Let's actually think about what it means to empower women, in which women are being empowered, and let everybody have the choice to eat people's money or not. Let all women have the option. Come on, ataka kukula fair or not. Let's get to the point where everybody is educated enough and can make choices so that now when we're making judgment of this situation, we are seated and can look at each other eye to eye on the table of equality and equal opportunities as construed, enshrined in our constitution. And then we can talk about we are not empowering one, section of society, because according to statistics and reports by the most, eligible, the most credible organizations in certain areas, if the research is being done and statistics are showing that women still need empowerment, then let's actually have engaging conversations where we're basing that on factual information, on research, and that now is an even playing ground for everybody. Yeah, so you find that women are prone to gender-based violence when they need to travel further to seek resources, and climate-induced disasters can make gender inequality worse, making women more vulnerable to gender-based violence. So that's sad that a woman who's been made vulnerable because of natural causes or causes that are avoidable. Climate change is something that is avoidable because it is directly linked to behavioral patterns. What are we producing? Our factories? What are we throwing into our oceans? Are we planting trees? What kind of structures are we building? What materials are we putting into the environment? That can actually change a lot when it comes to climate change. So you find that when this natural, causes, events, right? You've had floods, you've had a hurricane, you have drought. So that's not something that somebody wrote up. But because they're happening, then you find women are more vulnerable in positions where they are not empowered with resources, shelter, and then they are exposed to now the evils of humanity. So that's very sad that they face so much sexual violence as well as gender inequality, because tell me where a woman who does not have shelter or drinking water is going to get sanitary pads for her period. So when we say that we're the same, let's think about it in that sense. When we're looking for opportunities, or we say anything a man can do, a woman can do better, it's just a term to say give everybody the same opportunity when it comes to intellectual capacity. But biologically, we're not the same, and women need a lot more care because there's so much going on in women's bodies, because then we would say then men, men don't give birth. Women are the ones with the physical and biological facilities to carry life, meaning that our bodies do need particular care that men might not. And this is not a competition. This is just biology. It is factual information. If a dog needs to eat spinach to survive and a cat needs to eat tomatoes to survive, there's no point arguing, because if you feed the dog tomatoes and you feed the cat spinach, you've killed them both. And the conversations that we have are often very damaging because we argue against biology. and then we try to make those economic conversations, we try to make those opinion conversations. My period is not an opinion. My safety when it comes to sexual violence is not an opinion. These are things that are happening. These are things that need to be catered for. They need to change. Yeah, and research indicates, and this is according to TechnoServe, which is a blog on climate change. Research indicates that women and girls are up to 14 times more likely to be harmed during a disaster. Why? Because physically, we're not set up to be fighting the world. Physically, sisini baby girl. Do you understand? So when it comes to climate change on the economy, this is a very gendered conversation because women are disproportionately affected by economic impacts of climate change. They often work in industries that are more vulnerable to climate change. For example, farming. Farming is actually the majority of it. You know, uko nje, it's mama mbogas everywhere in the informal in the informal sector. You find that there's so many women sitting out there who are growing food or selling this food that has been grown, meaning that if you have to sit outside, you're being affected. If you have to grow your food outside, you're being affected. So you are more than likely to find women living in the poorest households because most women are self-employed in the informal economy. So this makes them more vulnerable to the effects of climate change, which can really, really increase gender inequalities and limit women's economic opportunities. So that's very sad. And because of the lack of access to information, they have limited access to resources such as land, credit, and technology, which really, really limits their ability to adapt to climate change and to fight against the different impacts. So the more water becomes scarce, women have to spend more time and energy looking for it, which, like we've already said, takes away their opportunity to educate themselves or to participate in more income generating activities. And also because women are often the primary caregivers of children, of the sick, of the elderly, they are more likely to be exposed to health risks associated with climate change. So anywhere where climate change is affecting people and giving them medical conditions, then you find that if this is a communicable disease or is really affecting the mental health of those people who are caregivers, then women are hit the hardest, right? And our last point for today is that climate change causes limited education opportunities. When climate patterns are disrupted, and then you find that everything changes. Everything changes: the household chores, the collecting of water, caring for family members. And because girls are at the center of these activities, then climate change increases and changes their workload and limits their access to resources, as already elaborated, which means definitely less time for education, less time for skill building opportunities, which really perpetuates the cycles of poverty and inequality. So you need to think about how natural disasters and extreme weather patterns are actually affecting girls. And when schools are damaged and educational activities are taken away because there's no more school, then you find everybody in that system missing school and having decreased access, obviously. And wow, it's actually very sad because you think about it's a hot day, it's a rainy day, and you don't realize that the hotter it is, the less water, natural water there is, out there. There's somebody who now can't go to school because they're not able to feed themselves, because they're not able to go fetch water. Or because they're fetching water further, then they're going to miss class. And you don't think about that when you're in a position of having access to all these things on a normal scale. And that's where we're going to cap this off. And like I said about the mental health conversation, we are going to be bringing on experts who are going to come with the statistics. They're going to let us know what's actually happening in the world of climate change, how that is a gendered conversation. Climate change is not a gender neutral event. Unfortunately, we wish it was, but it's not. And it's at the expense of women. A lot of these things really affect women in such a dire way, same as mental health. And we say you feed a woman, you feed a society, you help a woman, you help a society. So in us having conversations that amplify female voices, we are actually helping society. That has been our conversation today. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you're feeling about this climate change. Is this a foreign topic because it just sounds so white, it sounds so Western, but it's about time that we start talking about climate change. Wangari Maathai knew. She knew about climate change. She understood that we need to keep our forests, that we need to keep our natural green spaces. So let me know what this conversation has brought up in your mind, and if you would rather talk about something else, because sasa hii inatuhusuaje. So if you feel like this has a lot to do with women, if you feel like it doesn't, let us know on all our social media platforms, and Caroline Murote on all social media platforms. And that is today's show. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I'm gonna see you guys. You're gonna hear from me on Wednesday, same time, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. here on Power Radio. This has been Sheversations with your host, Miss Caroline Murote, and we are going to take this afternoon to another level. This is Elevate by Mohanji and Shani. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Your kind of music, all day, all night, right here on your only station, Power Radio.
Amazing. Make we just elevate. Put your smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Put your smile on, make we elevate. Make me shine, I call it imani. Wakifuata dona fuata umami. Kingdom ya Mungu, serikali nimeokoka. Yesu ndo jemedari.
Naangalia nyuma naona mkono wako. Checking mbele mi naona only favor yako. Worry is a thing of the past, keep it in the past. I wanna go on to the next, I'm off with the past. I'm all about Jesus and I don't take it lightly. I'm not of this world, no, I'm no longer like it. I'm now a resource, I know the real source. Always on toast, chukua kingdom, nani by force.
Man, I got pressures up in my life, but your love is amazing. Man, I got a lot going on right now, but your love is amazing. Make we just elevate. Put your smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Put your smile on, make we elevate.
Tangu day one, uko na designer. Keep me fine, fine, God unani minder. Baba on a good plan, trust you to hold my hand,
Trying his best, but it's better when you love him. I believe in Jesus, that's my faith, and I'm all in. Chained to the call, come up Paul, nearly changed from Saul. Changed my ways, and now I'm a new being of course. None like you, Baba. None could I ever reach you, Baba. Man at the top and you reign, Baba. Open the fat gates, make it fall down like a shower. Man, I got pressures up in my life, but your love is amazing. Man, I got a lot going on right now, but your love is amazing. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we elevate. Man, I got pressures up in my life, but your love is amazing. Man, I got a lot going on right now, but your love is amazing. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we elevate. Make we just elevate. Just smile on, make we
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Power Radio.